what the hell? I'm like, no, what am I apologizing for? I didn't say anything wrong. Guys, let's just act like this is not here. I gotta figure out something to do with this. Let's just, you know, it's not here. It's not here. Hey, what's up, you guys? It's Michelle. Welcome back to my channel. Welcome back to another video here on Chats with Michelle. What's up, guys? How's it going? So as you guys can see by the title, today we are going to be talking about why I hate so much apologizing and why it's something that I'm just struggling with. But I want to go ahead and share that with you guys. As you guys know, here on this channel, we focus on the journey of navigating adulthood and pursuing purpose. And in today's video, we are going to be focusing very much so on adulting. I think that apologizing and putting your pride to the side definitely is something that you have to master, or at least get into mastering as a young adult. If you're interested at all in anything that I have to say, just go ahead and keep on watching. Okay guys, so like I said, I want to talk to you guys pretty much about like apologizing and just where I'm at in this season with that whole thing. So as you guys know, on these videos, I'm always sharing things with you guys that I'm personally going through myself. A big reason, or a big part of the reasons why sometimes I was really insecure about making these kind of videos and different things like that is because like I never wanted to seem like I am talking at you guys or like I got all the answers. Like, I'm not Sway. I don't have all the answers, and that's why for a very long time I was really like insecure about making these kind of videos. But rather, I'm realizing, and I'm realizing it's better that I share anyways, that I don't have all the answers. A lot of times when I'm sharing these things, it's because it's usually more than likely the season that I'm in currently, and I like to just share with you guys to kind of help you guys along your way in the season you might be in if you're dealing with, like, you know, something similar or something that you may have to deal with eventually. So yeah, that's why I like sharing these videos and just kind of giving these tips, or just sharing like real life stories and how I dealt with something and how you can possibly deal with it, or maybe deal with things a little bit better than I did. Let me go ahead and just kind of break it down to you guys, and why I wanted to go ahead and create this video and why this video even came to mind. So this is going to be a real life story. This is very real and it happened very recent. I'm going to try to be as descriptive as possible, but also as discreet as possible, because you know, these videos are going on the internet and you just never know who might come across them. So I'm going to just try to be as transparent as I possibly can. So pretty much the gist of the story is I was at work and it was a Friday, right? And I actually had a call with my advisor from school. You guys know that I'm in school. I talked about it already. Lord, sometimes I ask myself, why am I in school every single day? Because it is just getting ridiculous, honestly. I don't want to go on a tangent. But anyways, I was on the phone with my advisor because I had scheduled an appointment right before the semester was beginning, because I just like to make sure that I got all my ducks in a row, whatever. I'm pretty good about making sure that I'm on top of everything because it's expensive and it takes up a lot of time. So I want to make sure that I have everything in order. So anyways, I spoke with my advisor and it was not the information that I wanted to hear. Like, that really, it just like, that whole conversation really annoyed me. So, you know, whatever. The conversation was over, and then I got called into my manager's office because they wanted to talk to me about something, this new thing that they were wanting to try out, etc. And coming off the heights of that conversation that was already like not the best of conversation, it wasn't the worst, but it just wasn't the best. Like, my emotions was already like up to here, and then they decided to tell me that they wanted me to incorporate this new thing with my, you know, work that I already do, etc. And I just wasn't feeling it. Actually, I take that back. It wasn't so much that I didn't want to do what they said, etc. I mean, at the end of the day, I mean, I'm working and I'm at work to work, and there's a job for me to do. You guys know I always talk about the work ethic pillar. I was just asking questions, which is nothing wrong with asking questions. You should always ask, and you know, nothing wrong with that, especially when you're working. I think you should always, you know, obviously do what's best for the company, but in the same way, like, you know, see how this can work for you as well. And I don't think there's anything wrong with what I said. Until this day, I really don't feel like there was anything wrong with what I said and what I asked. However, there was a problem with my delivery, and I can just sense the tension in the room, you know, because I just feel like, I don't feel like I was like Buck. You know, I definitely wasn't that, because it's just not my personality, and I wouldn't be that way. However, it was just not the smoothest delivery, and I definitely sensed that I had an attitude, And it was just awkward for everyone. And you know, after that conversation was like over and everything, I kind of just like went to my car because I really needed to like just recalibrate and recenter myself. Thankfully the day was ending and I got to like go home, and it was the weekend. So, you know, weekend comes and this was just sitting on like my heart and my mind, I guess. It was just sitting on me heavy. Like I said, it wasn't because of the things that I said. It was more so because of how I decided to handle the situation. And I just knew I could have just handled it a lot better, you know? I don't know if I said this on this channel before, but I'm gonna say it here just so you guys can kind of get context for the rest of what I'm about to say. And basically what that is that I know that God speaks to me in multiples. Like when I see something more than once, I know that like God is trying to get my attention. If you guys see my morning routine, and if you didn't, I'll make sure to link it here, that I pretty much in the morning, I've been like reading, doing devotion, etc., whatever. Right now, I'm currently reading a book called Purpose Driven Life. And I was on whatever day I was on, and I was reading the day, like, you know, the chapter of the day or whatever. And there was something that stood out to me, and I was just like, okay, like, you know, it stood out to me, but I was like, okay, whatever. I kind of journaled about it and kind of let it be. And it said, delayed obedience is still disobedience. And I don't know, that just really stuck out to me, and I was like, okay, whatever. I just kind of like wrote about it in my journal. And then later on that day, I ended up going to church. And like the whole service, we went through the service, it was great, whatever. And it wasn't till the end, literally the end of the service, one of the pastors came up, and it wasn't even like the pastor who preached. It was a whole nother pastor, and he was just talking about different things. And he said this again, he said, partial obedience is still disobedience. So slightly different from what I read, but the same gist, like you get it, you know what I mean? So I was just like, I was like, damn it. You know, because like once I start seeing things or hearing things in multiples, I'm just like, oh my God, I was like, what's the lesson here? Like, I just don't even want to deal with it. So then Monday comes around and I get to work and everything's fine. I'm still a little like anxious because I'm feeling like a little awkward about how, like, you know, things ended on Friday, but I'm just like, whatever, it is what it is. I'm here and I'm just gonna, you know, do whatever it is that I'm asked to do. So like, no big deal. But once I got in the parking lot, I just felt like this heaviness on me, and pretty much I just felt that I needed to apologize. I needed to apologize to my bosses. And I was just like, what the hell? I'm like, no, what am I apologizing for? I didn't say anything wrong, you know? So I was just like, I'm not doing it. Like, I don't understand. And it just felt so heavy and it was so awkward, but I was just like, I don't want to do that. Like, that sounds crazy to me. Now, remember, like I said, God speaks to me in multiples. I just feel like he just be speaking to me in multiples. So I was listening to I was listening to one of my one of my mentorship calls or whatever. I was listening to it, and one of the things that she said this quote, right? And the quote goes, people, like the gist of it, right? It goes, people won't remember what you said, but they'll remember how you make them feel, right? And I'm just like, oh, okay, that's a really nice quote. I even wrote it down and everything. I'm like, that's a nice quote. Like, if you know me, I love words. So like, I was like, this is. So I get to work and everything like that, and I'm just feeling awkward. I'm feeling a little like just uneasy. I'll be honest and transparent in this moment. Although I know you shouldn't be concerned about what other people think about you, and it reminds me of the thing that my mom tells me or has taught me from a little girl all the way to, like, you know, grown womanhood, and she also shares with my siblings as well, is that other people's opinion about you is none of your business. You shouldn't care what other people got to say because their opinion really don't matter. But if I'm honest, sometimes I do be overly concerned about like what people might be saying, you know? So I just had this like these thoughts in my head, like, oh, they were talking bad about me, and you know, just all of this stuff or whatever. And I was just like, I'm just gonna, you know, just be over here and just do what I gotta do and just come and leave. Like, I just had this defense up already, right? And I'm like, this is not the way to start the week, whatever. But I just kept feeling heavily in my spirit that I needed to apologize. So as I'm, you know, on my work or whatever, doing work, whatever, I'm on the computer and I'm looking for some like positive quotes, like posts, because, you know, I handle a whole thing at work, and I'm just looking for something positive to post, just to, you know, excite the agents and, you know, get them ready and positive this week and whatever like that. And one of the quotes I come across, mind you, I just Googled motivational quotes. I Googled motivational work quotes. That's what I Googled. I didn't Google nothing specific. And as I'm looking through the different quotes that are, coming up on Google, the quote I come across again was, people won't remember what you said, but they'll remember how they made you feel. Or no, how you made them feel, sorry. So I'm just like, oh my gosh. Like, I was so annoyed because I'm just like why do no, like I just no, like I just don't. And I just felt in my spirit, I was like, I knew that I needed to apologize. And I was just so upset. And if I'm honest, it was my pride. Because I'm just like, I don't want to apologize. Like, for what? I meant what I said. You know what I'm saying? Like, I meant what I said. But I also had to realize that it was my pride that I didn't want to apologize, because I already had been thinking like, oh, they probably was already talking about me and da-da-da. And they're going to think they can control me and all these different things like that or whatever. So I was just like sticking to like my no, but I just felt so heavy. And I ended up taking my lunch, right? So mind you, it's like 2 o'clock now. So we're talking about from like early in the morning till now it's like 2 o'clock and I'm on my lunch break. Now I always take my lunch break outside. And I'm on my lunch break, right? And I was listening to a message from Mike Todd from Transformation Church. I just tend to like randomly listen to his messages sometimes, like if I just in the mood, if I see it. So I clicked on one of the messages, right? And he said something. I can't remember specifically what he said, but he said something along the lines of like, like when, God is telling you that you need to apologize. And guys, it clicked from what I heard on that Sunday to that day about delayed obedience is still disobedience. And I was just so annoyed to the point where I started to cry. Like, not like boo-hoo cry, but I literally just saw like a tear rolling down my face and be like, God, I don't wanna apologize. And then it clicked. It's not what you said, it's how you said it. And it's how you made people feel. And I was just like, oh my, I was so stressed in my car at lunch. I was in my car, by the way. I was in my car at lunch and I was just so stressed. And I was just like, oh my gosh, this is ridiculous. Like, this is ridiculous. Like, this is just ridiculous. So I was just like, fine, I give up. I'm gonna apologize. Or whatever, I'm going to apologize. Well, sure enough, I just wrapped up my lunch or whatever, and I did it. I just sat my bosses down, asked them could they just all just meet in one office, because I didn't want to go and individually be hopping around offices or whatever. So they just all sat down, and I was just like, hey, like, I just want to apologize for my delivery on Friday. They weren't really upset, at least it didn't seem like it. And we kind of just squashed that. And I was like, okay, it was like literally less than 5 minutes, less than 2 minutes. And I went back to my desk. And when I tell you guys, the weight that was on me the entire weekend, the freaking Monday, like just that weight that had just been on me so heavy, I just felt so light. Now, I'll be honest, that might seem like, oh, and then, and then happily ever after. Like, no, when I got to my desk, I did slightly think, oh, but now, they gonna think that, like, they got power over me. Like, she need this, and like, she ain't gonna never. And it's like, I thought that for like a second. And then I had to switch my mind. I was like, girl, throw that away. Throw that thought away. What other people's opinion about me is none of my business. So if they do think that, that's their business, right? But my business was to be obedient and to do what I knew it was right to do, right? So, I apologize. I felt better. And that's just really that. The day went by normal. I wish I had some miraculous thing to say. And then I got promoted. And like, no, ouch. That didn't happen. Honestly, everything was, for the most part, normal as it could be. And it just is what it is. And I'm just learning to get out of my head. There are days where I'm just like, oh my gosh, like, they're probably still thinking about the day or whatever. And I do my best, try not to step out of character, but at the same time, it is what it is. I had a moment and I just did what I knew was right to do. So I just encourage you guys, if there is something or a situation where that you pretty much have to maybe be the bigger person, and in my sense, I don't know if I was necessarily being the bigger person, but you just know it's the right thing to do, then I would just encourage you to just do it. You know, just do it. Like, the weight will be lifted off of you, I think, at least a lot more than what you're feeling now. And it could be apologizing, it could be doing a certain thing. I mean, you know what it is, you know what I'm saying? And I just think it's important, yeah, to like, just to listen to that, like, discernment, you know, like they like to say, inside of you. And so yeah, that's it, guys. I just wanted to share that.